Welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video, and today I'm going to be looking at set 6271. It is the Imperial Redcoat Flagship released in 1992, not to be confused with the Imperial Flagship released in 2010. Both Redcoats, same name of sets, but very different. This came out in the second wave of Pirate series as I just said, in 1992, and it was the only vintage Redcoat ship that was released in the vintage series, and it's only been one of two that's ever been released in the history of LEGO. So let's get straight into the set. It does come with 3 sails. You get the triangular one at the front, you get the one here at the back, and then you get a big one at the front of the ship. And it's worth noting that in fact this was the only vintage set that actually had the logos printed on 2 sails. The other sets, they had printing on them, they had stripe patterns and things like that, but this one actually has the logo printed on 2 sails. And you also do get 2 flags. You get the big one at the back, as you can see there, and then there's also the little one at the top of the ship as well. So really, just straight away, really like this set, the way it's very clear that this is a Redcoat ship. Now this is a second-hand set. The sails do look very dirty, but in fact, even brand new, it actually has a kind of grunge look to the sails. They weren't made in the pristine white. I actually think it looks kind of cool. Probably looks better on a pirate ship rather than a soldier ship, but you know, it is what it is. But I really just wanted to point that out, that is the way that they were made, although these ones admittedly are a little bit dirty or a little bit aged. The front of the ship here is pretty stock standard for, you know, Pirate series ships. I will note though that there isn't really a figurehead at the front of the ship. It's a shame that they didn't do that, and it's probably my biggest complaint of the set. Even the Renegade Runner, which was the small, kind of like the small Skulls Eye schooner, had a little red dragon here, but we only get this weird sort of white looking piece. It's not, you know, special at all. As we now move to the middle part of the ship, not particularly much going on here. Again, the Renegade Runner had a couple of guns at the front, but this one doesn't really have any sort of, we keep going out of focus for some reason, any sort of artillery going on there. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the best way to get the camera to focus. But there is a little plank there. Nice that we do get a little platform for this set. Just makes it feel a little bit bigger. And interesting to note, these sort of half-sized ladders. I've never seen these in any of the other Pirate series sets. But I don't know, maybe they did use them in other sets, I'm not sure. Other non-pirate sets, but yeah, I'm assuming that those are actually pretty rare pieces there. We do get 2 cannons, and you get 6 cannonballs with each, and these are the grey cannonballs. They have used black over the years, and these are just your normal shooting cannons on wheels, and you can of course turn these around if you so wanted and put them on the other side to fire out on the other side. And you do get the cannon flaps. Not sure why they chose blue. I don't think it looks bad, but I personally would have rather see a red color scheme on some of these pieces, but that's just the way it is. Not a lot of detail going on in the ship, but you do get a chest, and you actually get 8 gold coins. I won't really bother showing that because I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of chests, pirate chests over the years. And then moving up here to sort of the main part of the ship here, you do get a compass, and the compass does actually work. And this is, I remember getting the Renegade Runner as a kid, and it added so much to the playability value of a set. And it's a shame that they don't include these in the newer sets. To my knowledge, there were only 3 sets with the compass. This one, the Renegade Runner, and also the Skulls Eye schooner. And just a small kind of deck or cabin kind of area, and then the back of the ship you do actually get a little window and it actually kind of looks quite similar to the Skalsay schooner design at the back. Now, one other cool feature with this ship is you can actually move the rudder by moving the ship, just as you can with the Skalsay schooner. So you can see as I move this rudder or move the steering wheel, the rudder is moving. And the way that works, you probably can't see it too well, but there is one piece attached to the rudder that goes in, and then to two of these spokes on the wheel, there are some pieces on two of the spokes that go out. And so the rod sits between, if we look at it side on, the two spokes from the wheel, and when you move the wheel, it moves the spokes, and therefore it moves the rudder, which is actually similar to the Skalsay schooner, and I showed that in the Skalsay schooner video. But the Skalsay schooner the Skalsay schooner system actually has one rod attached to the wheel spoke, and then there are two pieces attached to the rudder. And so the wheel hits one to the two pieces on the rudder. I probably didn't explain that very well, but if you watch the Skalsay schooner video, you can see that a lot clearer, but that's what I'm talking about there. So there's just one Lego piece that sits in between, and as you move the wheel, it hits the rudder on this one. But for the Skalsay schooner, because it's at the top of the cabin, it makes sense the way that they modified the design. So let's have a look at the minifigs. So you do get a Admiral minifig. There were only two sets that you could get this guy in, this one and the big trading port, when this came out. So this was actually the cheapest set you could get him in. They did release another set in 1995 that you could get him as well. So now there are three sets that you can actually get the Admiral Captain. You get a Sergeant, and you get, of course, an Imperial Soldier. And interestingly, you do get a Pirate, because back in the vintage sets, pirate ships had pirates, soldier sets had soldiers, and they didn't mix them. But here you do get a pirate, and yeah, no handcuffs. They didn't have Lego handcuffs back then, so you obviously wouldn't want him near any of the guns. Not a lot of accessories. The captain doesn't actually come with a gold cup, which is a bit surprising. Usually he's getting drunk somewhere, but yeah, but overall, I think this is a really nice set. I mean, for the piece count and the, you know, the quota and all that sort of stuff, I don't know if I could. I don't think I could have made a better looking ship than this. I think it's done really well. But I guess that really is the asterisk with this set, is that it is relatively small. I think it's only just over 300 pieces, so it's definitely not a full-sized you know, Lego ship. It has three pieces on the hull. You get the back, the front piece, and then you get one middle piece. Most of the large ships have three middle pieces, so that's the difference in size, and obviously you have more masts and things like that. But for its size, it definitely is a very well designed looking ship. Now, just to finish off this video, I'm going to show a comparison in size to some of the other main ships that have been released over the years. So here we have the Caribbean Clipper. So you can see in terms of length, it's about the same size. In terms of height, they are surprisingly pretty much the same, actually. The Caribbean Clipper is only marginally bigger, but because the Clipper's got two sails compared to the one big one, it looks bigger. So that actually surprised me a bit. Obviously the mast is a lot bigger as well, but there's not a huge difference in size for those two. And then probably the main or most important comparison, because these two are like arch nemesis of each other, I will show the Caribbean Clipper with this set. So, I mean, when you put them that way, it doesn't look like there's a huge difference, does there? But the Skalsay schooner has about 3 times the number of pieces. I actually forgot to show as well in sort of the review of this set that you can move these pieces and move the sail around. That does swing around, which I'm sure you guys probably knew anyway, but to quickly show that. So this is kind of the recreated scene from the catalogue. So you've got those two battling. Obviously pretty unfair fight, 2 cannons versus 4. The reason why they wouldn't have made them the same is because these are very expensive, and they figured, well, if people couldn't afford the big pirate ship, then maybe they could afford a smaller sized ship, and I'm pretty sure that is the explanation, as I explained in my review of the Caribbean Clipper. So that's that one. And then finally, I do have the granddaddy of them all. This one is nearly double the piece count again of the Skulls Eye schooner. This is the Imperial Flagship from 2010. And of course, I have reviewed this as well. And it has nearly 5 times the number of pieces as the set that I just put in front of it. So a huge difference in size, but obviously a huge difference in price as well. But it's just chalk and cheese. So just to show that from the front a little better, you can see the difference there. So if I put these all together as best as I can, then we can see here Caribbean Clipper, the big Imperial Flagship, the vintage Imperial Flagship, and then the Skulls Eye schooner. So it's very hard to show all these kind of in one shot, but if you guys would want to see these shown a different way or compared in a different way, let me know and I may do another follow-up video. But this is a really great vintage set that LEGO released back in the day, and I'd love to know what you guys think of it. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.